Dear learner, today we are going to discuss the basic concepts or introductory concepts about object-oriented programming with the C++ language. C++ is an object-oriented language. Any language which can be designated as object-oriented language or object-oriented, which supports object-oriented programming, should support three important concepts. The first one, data encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. This object-oriented programming paradigm is a software development philosophy based on the following central ideas: data abstraction and information hiding, data encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. Object-oriented programming is organized around data. Unlike structure-oriented programming, the object-oriented programming revolves around data, whereas the structure-oriented language revolves around the code or method of solving a problem. Object-oriented programming approach has the advantage of producing better structured and more reliable software for complex systems, greater reusability, more extensibility, and easy maintainability. So, object-oriented programming features, important features are data abstraction, data hiding, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. The first one is going to be the basic concept of object-oriented programming. We start with classes and objects. So, to implement data encapsulation, classes and objects are going to be used. So, a class is a user-defined data type which includes two major components. The first one is going to be the data member, another one is the member function. So, a class is a user-defined data type which consists of data member and member function. So, using this user-defined data type, you can create any number of instances, and the instances are going to be called as objects. Here we can create two objects, object 1 and object 2. So, whatever data member and member functions which are defined in the class template are the members of all the objects or the instances which we create. So, suppose we create three objects, object A, object B, object C. So, all the three objects will have the data and member functions which are defined in the class. Next one, the data abstraction and data encapsulation. So, data abstraction, which is a superset of data encapsulation and information hiding. So, data abstraction is creating classes with the appropriate functionality which hide the unnecessary details. So, next one, data encapsulation, which is the implementation which is encapsulated by the interface, and the only way to get the implementation legally is through the interface. Information hiding. Information is hidden from the user. So, implementation details are hidden from the user. So, data abstraction. So, as we said, this is creating a class with appropriate functionality which hide the unnecessary detail. When you have this mobile phone, so data abstraction, so the details of constructing a mobile phone is hidden from the user. So, next one is going to be a data encapsulation. So, data encapsulation is the implementation, or this is the encapsulation of the data members and member functions together. So, here you can see the capsule which hold which is called as a class, which has two things. One is the variables or data members, another one is the member functions or methods. So, these two are closely knit together within a nutshell, and this is going to be called as a class. So, next one is data hiding. So, a class, the unnecessary details or the implementation details, private information are hidden from the user, and the interface or the method is visible to the user. So the basic concept of inheritance. Inheritance is the capability of one class to inherit the properties from another class. So it is the process of creating a new class from the existing class. So the existing class is going to be called as base class, and the new class which we create now is going to be called as derived class. Base class is the class whose properties are inherited by another class, and it is called as superclass. So derived class is the class that inherit properties from the base class, one or more base class, and this derived classes, new classes are going to be called as subclass. So here you can see the shape which has three base classes: rectangle, square, and circle, and the cuboid, cube are the derived classes. Likewise, vehicle is the class using which you create two variables or two classes: automobiles and fleet vehicles, and under that automobiles, a car and scooter. Next one is going to be the rickshaw and bicycle. So there are many ways in which you can create derived classes, new classes. So A is a base class from which you create a new class called B, from which you create another class called C. This type of inheritance is called as multi-level inheritance. Whereas here A is a base class from which you create three new classes B, C, D. So this is called as a hierarchical inheritance. There are other inheritances are also available: single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, and hybrid inheritance. Next one is the basic concept is polymorphism. Polymorphism is the ability to use an operator or a method in different ways. So poly means many and morphy means taking different forms. Polymorphism gives different meanings or functions to the operators or methods. So you can use a existing operator and you can overload a few more meaning to the operator. Likewise, one function can be overloaded with many meanings, and the difference lies in finding out the number of arguments or data type of the argument. So polymorphism is of two types. One is compile time polymorphism, another one is runtime polymorphism. Compile type polymorphism is implemented with the help of operator overloading and function overloading, mainly overloading concept, whereas the runtime polymorphism is facilitated with overriding concept, which is implemented with virtual functions. So here you can see shape is a method. So you say shape is a class using which you can go for creating different type of classes. So finally, benefits of object-oriented program. Through inheritance, we can eliminate the redundant code and extend the use of existing code. Data hiding helps the programmer to build secure programs that cannot be invaded by code in other parts of the program. It is possible to have multiple instances of an object to coexist without any interference. It is possible to map objects in the problem domain to those objects in the program. So it is easy to partition the work in a project based on objects. Thank you, students.